It is the SWP Disciple. Alright, so I'm leaving the Honda dealership, which kind of turned out to be a waste of time, unintentional. So, as you know, I had, wow, it's nice and, I won't say warm, but it's nice out here. Let me check what is the temperature. Oh boy, oil life at 30%. I didn't even notice that. Just flipping through. Oh, there we were there. Overzealous with the button pressing. I'm like a kid in an elevator just hitting random buttons. Alright, there we go. 43 degrees outside. Let me roll up the window just so we don't get any wind buffeting. Is that the new Passport right there? I think it is. Those are pretty interesting. Alright, so somebody here, I think this is like the second or third time I've seen it, somebody here drives a GTR, which is pretty funny, working at a Honda dealership. And they have a couple Type R's on the showroom floor with like a $5,000 markup. Here's another one right here, and I can tell from the window sticker it has that extra side sticker that has an additional markup of $5,000. So instead of being like 38 and some change, it's like 44, which is like a lot. I mean, 38 for a front-wheel drive car. I mean, unless you're talking about like a Megane Trophy R or a Civic Type R, is probably about as much as you would pay for a front-wheel drive car, or at least me anyway. So the flag's at half-mast. Is that for the people of Texas or is that for Rush Limbaugh? I bet you that's for Rush Limbaugh. I very nearly wanted to ask someone in there, why is the flag at half-mast? But as you know, a lot of like business owners of that ilk, of that scale, I mean, the Belize chain of dealerships is huge, like the biggest in Western Mass. I think I saw some figures somewhere that like the Belize family is like worth like over $100 million or something like that, which is like a lot for shilling used cars. And that was like years ago. Herb Chambers, who was like the big dealer out in Boston, he's a billionaire. From my hometown, Dorchester, too, so, big up. But, yeah, this was a bit of a waste of time. So, my car was slow starting because, like, it's been sitting basically all winter. I think I've started it, like, a couple times, but the lady so eloquently told me that, like, just starting your car and running it for a few minutes isn't enough to keep the battery going, yada, yada, yada. I don't have a trickle charger either. Maybe I need to invest in one for next winter. But blame it on me for, like, having my AirPods in, while she was talking. I could have sworn I took it out and I listened to everything that she said, but apparently I missed where, because I'm walking, it would take like, hours, she said, for them to do a charge to check for like any parasitic losses and the battery and etc, because I just came in thinking, all right, I bought the battery in November, it's under the 2-year warranty, give me a new battery. Because I went to the my close buddy's garage, because I was like in the area, since I had taken time off to get the sunroof handled and the RAV4. That was short money, $75. All he did is reflash the ECU. There was nothing, like, it wasn't off track or anything like that. I think basically because it pushed up while there's ice there, it threw the programming off, and he just reflashed the ECU, and I was probably in and out of there. He wanted me to drop it off for whatever reason. Even though I made an appointment, he wanted me to basically drop my car off all day, and I'm like, I live in Forest Park. I don't live anywhere near here. Sorry, I'm like driving stick with one hand. Let me get into fifth at least. I don't necessarily need sixth for this straight here. But yeah. So whatever, we kind of like had a passive-aggressive argument. I mean, it didn't get explosive or anything like that, but basically, like, he was like, yeah, you have anyone that can pick you up, and yeah, just kind of going on the list. I'm like, no, I don't live anywhere near here, really. Like, I mean, I live in Springfield, and this is West Springfield, but, like, I'm not really close to here. I mean, how many people have someone that at 9 in the morning can give them a ride somewhere and then bring them back home, whatever, and then bring them back whatever is done or whatever. So I think they didn't want me just waiting there. I could tell it was like a really nice facility, actually, for what it was. It was like one of those like trim places that sells like truck trim and tints windows and sells wheels and stuff like that or whatever. But anyway, yeah, I was basically in and out of there, and I'd say less than 45 minutes, which was great with me. So I'm like, wow, I have all this time, and I can kind of like not use all this PTO that I had scheduled off until 1. So I go to my boy's place to this side view mirror right here, as these basically Acura TLs are wont to do. It's sticky when I go into reverse. It like lowers so you can kind of like see behind you better and see the curb below you, whatever, if you're like parallel parking on the left. But it sticks. So back when I went to Acura of Auburn for the motor, I just had it sitting in here basically all winter. Oop, let me get straight again. And actually, let me get, you guys behind me are probably like, this guy is drunk at 1 in the afternoon or 12:30 in the afternoon. Yeah, but he said it's like a 2-hour job, and it's this glass right here, the side view mirror, is very delicate, which, whatever, touche. So I'll see him another time, like, he'll always be there. So I was like, all right, I still have time. Let me go to the Honda dealership and get this battery replaced, because, like, it was drained. He did run, like, a battery test for me, and he saw that the ampage was below a certain cutoff, which means, like, it was a bad battery. So I go there, and they're like, well, we got to check the parasitic losses and check the alternator and all this other stuff, whatever. And they're like, it takes like a couple hours or whatever. I'm like, wow, I wish she told me this up front, which she said she did. I mean, it's possible that I just didn't hear it because I had my earpods in, but I'm pretty sure I had muted while she was talking to me and I didn't hear that. But whatever, I'm not gonna, I mean, I did argue a little bit. I was like, you can't just swap out the goddamn battery, but for due diligence, because they want to save the whatever it was, $170 that the battery was, so they can tell me, well, you drained it down and you have parasitic losses, so no. But whatever. So she's like, yeah, come back another time, whatever. And I'm like, it's kind of difficult to I work 8:30 to 5, whatever. And I thought Thursdays they had a late day, because like a lot of dealerships have like a late day on Thursdays, and I could just come by, jet down here after work. But they're like, no, we close at 5. So long story short, I mean, there's a 2-year warranty on the battery. She had like misquoted, like I think she said like 100 months initially, but the guy who I assume is the manager kind of like corrected her. He's like, no, it's 2 years. Ooh, bad downshift. Let me get into second. There we go. Driving with stick with one hand is no bueno. And I think this CRV's been behind me for a while right now, so they're probably like, what the hell is going on with this guy? But anyway, yeah, so mission aborted. We'll have to do it another time. I mean, there is a chance just driving it like normal is going to like charge up all the all the power supply systems, and I won't need to replace the battery at all. But I'm kind of like of the opinion, if I just bought a battery in November and it it's run down a couple times, actually I've had to charge it like 3 times, so I guess 3 times it's run down, I kind of want a new battery, even though I suppose technically that's my fault for just letting it sit. But yeah, such are the throes of I guess capitalism, right? They're trying to protect their bottom line, and I'm trying to, in a sense, protect my bottom line. But yeah, so heading back to work, I always like to invert things, or I guess it's only inverted if you have like an anchor or something to compare it to, but I like to do stuff after work. So in other words, work the front end or whatever, and then schedule things for afterwards. But the other guy with the sunroof, because they wanted me to just kind of like drop it off and go, obviously it was like top of the day. I would have much preferred to have just truncated the day and then come by there at like noon. Now, as a guy who's had many mechanical and electrical issues over my years, my 24 years almost of driving, I kind of know baseline how long things are going to take before I even have them looked at. But dealerships, they always, or shops, whatever, they always want you to just kind of like drop the car up and leave, so they can kind of work at their own pace. I mean, I get it, but I much prefer to shorten the day on the, like, work the front end and then shorten the day, as opposed to go to a doctor's appointment or whatever before and then go to work. I feel like that's just bad on bad. Which I guess is like the criticism of like the boomers with like Generation X on down, is that we're all lazy, right? Because that's like kind of like a compartment of my my inherent laziness, where I want things to be as easy and as pain-free as possible, which much to my dismay is kind of like curtailed the quality of my life in a lot of ways, because I just don't do things necessarily certainly not the hard way. And oftentimes doing things the hard way means doing them the right way. They kind of interpolate that way, whatever. Because I'm always looking for the easy way, I've kind of like made a mess of certain aspects of my life. But anyway, it's just a little ramble. It is nice to be in the TL. And I'm almost home, but let me drive with two hands for this last, I don't know, half a mile. Anyway, stay with me. God bless.